Kamala Prasad-Bissessar campaigned on something different. And look at the first budget you get. The first budget you're getting landlord surcharges. Surcharges for landlords, and particularly commercial, as Kamala Prasad-Bissessar stipulated and stated here. It is not a property tax. You do not have to pay any new taxes for living in any type of dwelling places if your landlord is doing what they are supposed to do. Too many citizens across Trinidad and Tobago just running to go and live anywhere like Rotork, but running to go and live anywhere, and they don't know if the landlord actually registered, if the landlord is properly doing business, engaging in illegal activities or anything. They're telling you what not to do on the property, but them not even paying their own taxes. But if you don't want to hear it from me, as normal people don't want to just hear it from us because they think that we are just paid to talk, or we are just talking because we want to talk, or because we want to promote the UNC, I think this TikToker did a really good job at explaining exactly what the landlord surcharge is. Take a listen.
Landlord surcharge. Let's quickly talk about it from a business perspective, and I do hope this video helps any of the landlords out there that has been operating off the books and realizing now that, hey, I think the government may be aware of a good bit of us renting, so let me get ready to go register as a landlord. So let's break this down. Some of you may be saying, but not a business entity. I invested in some property and I just get a return on that investment. Listen, you may not be a business entity, but you are operating one of the main business entity activities, and that is you are offering something and you're receiving an income for it, and that is one of the major business activities for a business entity. So you may not be a business entity, but you're definitely doing one of the major business activities that a business entity would do, offering something and receiving income for it. And because the government is aware of this, that is why they created this registration system for landlords to hold accountability, because the government is basically saying, listen, we're aware that there are landlords out there that operating off the books, and you all are basically robbing the country of potential revenue because you're not paying the necessary taxes that goes along with being a landlord. All right, that's basically what is happening here, accountability. So before you go like, no, let's take my hard-earned money. From a business perspective, I want you to understand there's a reason behind it. And before you start holding your heads and saying, they don't like to see people make money, they like to see people suffer, and all of these things, we have responsibilities as citizens of a country. And if we are earning income, whether through employment, whether through owning and operating a micro small business, or maybe through landlord activities, we got to pay taxes and we have to add to the country's economic revenue. Hope this was helpful to anyone. Toodles.
Well, I think that was very simple. So you didn't hear from a politician, you didn't hear from a UNC spokesperson, you heard from a concerned citizen and a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago itself about what the tax is. There are plenty of persons that we know of that renting all type of property and renting the HDC house. Renting the HDC house, making all kind of money in Trinidad and Tobago and not paying any type of taxes. And though that is who Kamala Prasad-Bissessar and the government is targeting, just as the illicit gambling, the illegal gambling that's taking place in Trinidad, the $9 billion gambling chain that's taking place in Trinidad, we saw DSS. I mean, not pretend that we didn't see DSS Susu, and hear PNM talk about DSS Susu, and hear PNM talk about the illegal gambling chain in Trinidad, but they did nothing about it. Kamala Prasad-Bissessar said that she's going to implement no new taxes, and no new taxes were introduced. All the taxes now, even on my good Johnny Walker and my good vodka, is to target, well, the alcohol tax, but the tax on landlords, and then all the it's not even new taxes, all the taxes that you see now in Trinidad and Tobago, especially on gambling and stuff like that, is simply to curb the illegal things that happen. And the driving, there are persons that will be running down the shoulder like they're mad. We all know people that's run down the shoulder like they're mad. Driving recklessly, $15,000 for them, don't worry. But listen, that's not me, huh? Listen to Kamala Persad-Bissessar, Trinidad and Tobago, because she went and she spoke about it. So I'm going to let you hear from Kamala Persad-Bissessar herself speak about it is not a property tax. And in case Trinidad and Tobago, Penelope Beckles for sure, you open your fridge door and you close it the same time Kamala Persad-Bissessar said this. It is not a property tax.
To bring balance to the housing market, we are formalizing the rental sector, establishing a clear, accountable system which protects both landlords and tenants and strengthens the integrity of the property market. Let me speak to you a bit about that measure, because some people are already misleading you and spinning it and contorting, if that's the word. That landlord business surcharge is not a property tax. Let's get that very, very clear. It is not a revised version of property tax. This is where we are putting a surcharge on people who are making income, earning income from their properties. So, for example, it's not on residential properties, understand, but if you take your property and you're renting it, but then you're breaking the law by not paying taxes, because that is income. It's a commercial enterprise. You're making income, and by law, you should be paying taxes. But for too long in the system, these persons were allowed to get away with it. You know, some of them don't even live in Trinidad, but they own 5 houses in Trinidad or in Tobago, and they're renting it out, collecting income, but paying no taxes. So everybody there must be a sharing of the burdens as well as the wealth of the country. And this is one way they will contribute to our coffers with the revenue. And at the same time, we can account. This is the accountability measure. So if you have any questions about that, I will be free to go further into it. But I make it very clear.
It is not a property tax, Penelope Beckles. It is not a property tax. It is simply a landlord surcharge for persons that have been evading paying taxes in Trinidad and Tobago. Don't act as though we don't know that person's doing that. You gotta ask yourself, if Colum Imbert goes to Parliament, finance number 2 bill in 2016 to evade paying his rightful share of taxes to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, what else persons doing out here? What else he doing out here? Maybe that's why he stood up with the opposition press conference and he was upset, because now he have to pay taxes too. Those persons that evade and paying taxes in Trinidad and Tobago, they now have to pay taxes too. And that's a way that government will generate revenue across the board, an equal share. It is not that the people who are going to rent have to pay this. And I hear people say, now your rental's going to go up. But people renting homes, a 2-bedroom home or a 1-bedroom home, $2,400, $3,500. We asked, and Kamala Persad-Bissessar said this during COVID, that there must be regulations, rules and regulations for landlords. There must be a proper landlord act that Keith Rowley went to Parliament and didn't even pass properly. He passed a pussyfoot act, basically, around the issue of landlords and rental agreements in Trinidad and Tobago, which allowed for landlords to basically do what they want to do to tenants across here in Trinidad. Kamala Persad-Bissessar campaigned on something different. And look at the first budget you get. The first budget you're getting landlord surcharges. Surcharges for landlords, and particularly commercial, as Kamala Persad-Bissessar stipulated and stated here. It is not a property tax. You do not have to pay any new taxes for living in any type of dwelling places if your landlord is doing what they are supposed to do. too many citizens across Trinidad and Tobago just running to go and live anywhere like Rotork, but running to go and live anywhere. And they don't know if the landlord actually registered, if the landlord is properly doing business, engaging in illegal activities or anything. They're telling you what not to do on the property, but them not even paying their own taxes. You need to do your due diligence as a tenant, and you need to also make sure that at least your landlord's following the law as well. And if they're not, there's a place that you could go to. There's a court that you can go to and bring these matters up. All right?